In this video, we will explain in detail the meaning of the F6 error code in air conditioning units of different brands and models. This code frequently appears on the screens of both residential and commercial units and can cause confusion among users. Therefore, it is important to understand its different interpretations and the causes that trigger it, as this allows for a more accurate diagnosis and helps avoid unnecessary repairs. This code appears frequently, and although its interpretation may vary depending on the manufacturer, most of the time it is associated with faults in temperature sensors, electronic protections activated by overload or high pressure, or electrical and communication problems between the electronic boards of the system. Understanding the context in which this error occurs helps determine whether it is a temporary fault, an automatic protection, or real damage to a component of the air conditioner. Below are the most common groups of meanings organized by similarity to make diagnosis easier. This classification allows the origin of the problem to be analyzed in a more organized manner, starting with the most frequent failures and moving on to less common ones that can also trigger the same error code. 1. Temperature sensor failure, the most common cause. In most brands, the F6 code indicates an anomaly in one of the temperature sensors, either in the indoor unit or the outdoor unit of the system. These sensors, also known as thermistors or NTCs, are responsible for sending precise information about the temperature of the room, the evaporator, or the condenser to the control board. When any of them is damaged, shorted, disconnected, or out of range, the unit interprets the signal as an error and stops operation as a preventive measure. This type of error occurs when the sensor is open, shorted, disconnected, or out of range, preventing the control board from receiving a valid reading. It can also be caused by loose connections, moisture, or corrosion on the terminals. In many cases, a simple physical inspection or cleaning of the connectors can solve the issue without replacing components. Brands that associate F6 with sensor faults. Haier, outdoor ambient temperature sensor damaged. Chigo, outdoor ambient temperature sensor fault. AOX, outdoor temperature sensor error. Mida, evaporator outlet sensor open or shorted. Comfort Star, low pressure side sensor in the outdoor unit defective. Panasonic, in several models, F6 is associated with ambient or coil sensor faults. Samsung, in some inverter units indicates a defective sensor or electronic board. Fujitsu, Sanyo, Mitsubishi Electric. F6 or equivalent codes refer to thermistor or NTC sensor faults, both in the indoor and outdoor units. Hitachi, in some models it is related to the discharge or outdoor ambient sensor. Suggested diagnostic steps. A. Turn off and unplug the unit. Wait a few minutes, then turn it on again to check if the error disappears, as sometimes it is a temporary failure caused by electrical variations or brief out-of-range readings. B. If the error reappears, turn the unit off again and carefully inspect the physical condition of the sensors, connectors, and wiring. Make sure the connectors are tight and free from moisture. C. Check that there is no moisture, corrosion, or broken wires at the connectors, as these factors often alter the sensor's resistance and cause incorrect readings. D. If no visible issues are found, disconnect the indoor unit sensors and measure their resistance with a multimeter on the kiloohm scale, confirming that the values match the current ambient temperature. E. If the reading is infinite, the sensor is open and must be replaced, as it has lost electrical continuity. F. If the reading is 0, the sensor is shorted and must also be replaced, since it no longer responds correctly to temperature changes. G. If you have the sensor's resistance chart according to temperature, compare your reading with the reference values. If they do not match, it means the sensor has lost calibration and is damaged, even if it appears to be in good physical condition. H. If no faults are found in the indoor unit, repeat the same process on the sensors of the outdoor or condenser unit, as the cause is often located there. Group conclusion. Thermal sensors play a vital role. They control the temperature of the evaporator, condenser, and ambient air. If any of them stops sending a valid signal, the electronic board interprets this as a dangerous condition, shuts down the compressor as a protective measure, and displays the F6 code to alert the user or maintenance technician. 2. Overload, high pressure, or frequency control protection. Another common interpretation of the F6 code is related to electronic protections activated by abnormal operating conditions, especially in inverter systems where the electronics precisely control compressor speed. When the system detects that it is operating outside safe parameters due to high pressure, thermal overload, or excess current, it automatically shuts down to protect the components. In these cases, the system identifies an overload, high pressure, or imbalance in compressor frequency and stops operation to prevent further damage. This preventive action is part of the equipment design, and although the F6 code appears as an error, it actually functions as a safety warning that prevents costly future failures. Brands using F6 with this meaning. Daikin indicates high pressure or overload control during cooling mode. GREE, overload limit protection or automatic frequency reduction signal. Sinclair, protection activated by excess load or frequency drop. Carrier, Train, York. In some commercial models, F6 or similar codes indicate thermal or pressure limit protection. Most common causes. A. Dirty coils, condenser, or evaporator, preventing proper heat transfer and causing abnormal system pressure. B. Excess refrigerant or a restriction in the line, creating overpressure and additional strain on the compressor. C. Outdoor fan stopped or running at low speed, preventing proper heat dissipation. D. Communication failure between the main board and the inverter compressor, causing erratic readings in current or frequency. Recommendations. A. Check airflow and clean the condenser coils, removing dust, grease, or debris that block air circulation. B. Verify refrigerant charge and make sure there are no obstructions in the lines or valves. C. Measure operating pressure and compressor current to ensure they are within the manufacturer's nominal values. D. After correcting the causes, reset the system to verify if the code disappears and the unit resumes normal operation. Group conclusion. In this case, the F6 code does not represent a direct fault, but rather an automatic system protection that activates when the unit operates outside normal parameters. Its purpose is to prevent irreversible damage to the compressor or the electronic control, ensuring the safety and durability of the air conditioner. 3. Electrical, phase, or communication faults. In some models, especially three-phase units or inverter systems, the F6 code may be associated with electrical or internal communication problems between electronic boards. These faults are less frequent but usually require a more detailed inspection as they directly affect synchronization and signal exchange between the system's different modules. Associated brands. TCL, protection due to missing or reversed compressor phase. Galans, PG motor fault, no feedback signal from the indoor fan. Toshiba, F6 linked to motor failure or loss of feedback signal. Carrier, York. In some models, F6 indicates a communication error between indoor and outdoor units. Possible causes. A. Loose or reverse polarity power cable, which can cause erratic readings or signal interruptions. B. Damaged control board or missing PG feedback signal, preventing the system from verifying motor operation. C. Fan motor blocked or not spinning, affecting airflow and feedback signals. D. Disconnected or poorly connected communication cables causing intermittent interruptions between boards.